Hello, Firestarters! If you haven't watched my intro video yet, then go ahead and give that a quick watch if you want to know a little bit about me. Other than that, if you're all up here in this video and don't feel like diverting over that way right now, then hello. My name is Alexis, or Lex, if that's easier for you, and I am a quantum integration coach. I help you to align your mind, body, and energy to claim your domain, be your own hero, and just feel like a freaking rock star in everyday life. And so, I specialize in what's called quantum energy management for multidisciplinary people. So, if you're feeling blocked, overwhelmed, and caught up in the infinite tangles of your everyday life, but you have a big heart, dreams, and still realize that you have to play your part in this world while you're trying to make all that potential of yours happen, then you've come to the right place. I am a fire starter just like you, an insatiable striver type person, if you will. I gotta go through this thing every day and put all of this that I'm going to intro to you to practice. Part of training you to manage your energy, thus guiding your life intentfully, involves the inevitability of abiding by the physical laws of this earth, sadly, and all of its social constructs as well. So, with that, I want to welcome you to this introductory video to kick off this sphere I call multidisciplinary skills development, or multi-skills development for short. MSD for even shorter. Let's go over what that's all about first and why we should care, shall we? Multi-skills development is your mental engine. If you want to understand the big picture view of how the three engines in total interact, then please click on this video. Also linked in the description. Or just save it to your watch later. Easy, but you will have to watch it. Now, this mental engine we speak of, which powers our ability to organize and develop multiple skills at the same time, is our way to remain practical and objective, to make optimal progress while maintaining and staying in touch with our emotional, spiritual, intangible integrity. If you think about it, it's essential. We are not robots. So if you've ever felt locked in a box or in a chokehold by trying to follow a strict schedule, which, by the way, as an ambitious person, you most likely self-imposed at one point or another. Or if you've ever felt insanely disappointed when, by that very same self-imposed schedule, by your own expectations or the presumed expectations of others, you kicked yourself to the curb, claiming how pathetic you are for not following through with the goal that you said you would follow through on. I have been through many myself and have fallen into many snake pits. It happens to the best of us. You guys gotta understand a foundational thing before you even think about clicking off this video and thinking the grass is greener somewhere else. Because that in itself is a snake pit, my friends. You are here for a reason, right? You've got to understand at least this, or you will beat yourself up again. Here it is. We live in a completely artificialized, highly constructed, and total arbitrary, if you think about it, society, where we self-impose tasks and timelines to satisfy purposes that are just as arbitrary. I'm a sci-fi writer. Does it make sense to you that out of all the possibilities of how life on a planet could have unfolded, we turned out like this? The buildings, The cultures, the social structures, the rules, the hierarchies, the life forms. Wow, incredible. In other words, beyond life's necessities, we self impose every goal we choose to reach. We self impose every goal we choose to reach. Nearly every personal goal of ours is linked to a societal value that we have chosen to adopt. And this is not a bad thing, okay? As arbitrary as this world is, with all its blurred lines of what's true and to who it's true, it's crazy. You could take it as an invitation to the party, where you get to choose your battles. You get to choose what you want to do in your life. You get to pick your poisons. You get to choose what's better, what's worse, all of that stuff. In fact, I would even go so far as to say that this little game of make believe that we play almost with ourselves and with society, as we assume our roles in society, like characters in a play, is absolutely necessary for us to do what we came here to do. If you believe in that kind of stuff. I do. And if you do this to progress, ultimately, humanity, if you will, for the greater good, if you want to think that far out. I like to believe that. We have a purpose here. So we will touch on all of that more in another video. It's part of the understanding of what I call system dynamics, which is another sphere, the energy engine of understanding. But for now, all you need to acknowledge, no matter what ultimate belief system you hold, is that as a person with ambition outside of the absolute necessities needed to stay alive and well in this lifetime, you are self-imposing your own regime. More on that in another video. So we're going to explore many topics together throughout this MSD experience. No, not that other acronym, people. Get your head out of the gutter. Multi-skills development. We're going to take this MSD journey together. And yes, it involves a lot of topics, of course. It does, of course, but c'est la vie, right? Some of the most important ones, though, to understand are the following. Let me list you some right now. First, we've got to understand fractal systems. We've got to establish a fractal map, basically. Don't get scared yet, okay? Relax. We have to distill down basically all your, what I call, areas of interest. And then you got to break those down even further into broad categories and projects until you start to see the patterns in even your most diverse and disparate areas of interest. Like for me, it's fitness, writing, integration, and music. Like, as an example, Fwim, there you go. Wow. Life in context. Here's what I came up with a while ago. A pivotal realization of mine. Our areas of interest are things that resonate with us for whatever reason. They are simply avenues through which we learn about life and develop our character. And so I've realized the goal is not to become the best, per se, at any one of them. The goal is to express yourself to the fullest in each one. Approach with an open heart, accurate self-expression, and full authenticity. So this is just going to show that our areas of interest are simply avenues through which we learn about life and develop our character. And for me, having perfectionistic tendencies, and I'll talk about knowing thyself as one component of MSD, it alleviates a lot of the pressure off of somebody like myself for having to think that you need to be the best at everything, or even just having that feeling arise and irritate you and then just crippling you in the long run. So it's just, from my standpoint, a more healthful way to categorize and start to build a mental framework or scaffolding about the things that you deal with in your life. And it also, of course, then helps you decide on whether something is urgent, important, not important, all that kind of stuff, or when to say yes or no to people and to things that present themselves in your life. So it's a scaffolding for starters. And that's a lot of what I'd like to talk about through multi-skills development as we take this journey together. Some other concepts that are very important to talk about, in my opinion, here, and opinions are like assholes if you watched my intro video. It's life in context. It's thinking in principle, strategy, and tactic. It's reframing work. What is work? Understanding trade-offs is another one. Knowing thy tendencies, like I alluded to, know thyself. It's doing the best with what you've got. And purposeful restrictions, that is a huge one. Thankfully, I remembered that just now. I'll be talking a lot about the importance of setting purposeful restrictions for yourself to operate by. Way better than having others set arbitrary restrictions for you. Am I right? I mean, if we're gonna step one foot in the deep end, might as well jump in. Did that make sense? I'm gonna talk about a few awesome tools to use where you can set up some sweet automations for yourself to make your life a lot easier and lighten the load on your brain. We're going to be talking about establishing feedback loops, which are so important. Talk a little bit about having mentors and things like that. Gauging expectations. Now, that's a big one. Expectations trigger a lot of people under the hood, and they sneak up on you like a freaking viper. You don't even see it coming. We're going to talk about how to pivot, because there's no way that you're getting around the magnificence and craftiness of life itself. Always respect life. Let me tell you that. And we're going to be talking about motivation and will, because yes, it is yet another aspect of ours that is oft misunderstood. And it leads us to finally exposing a lot of fine lines, like knowing how hard to push versus when to listen to your body, and other predicaments like that, because they're real, man. They're real. And they could cause so much conflict within a person. So much. So, we're going to be opening the conversation to talk out, finally, how to deal with those fine lines that we're going to bump up against on the daily. So I hope all of this made enough sense to you guys, at least to just get things started. I hope you stick around to watch the rest of the incoming videos in this playlist called Multi-Skills Development. And I hope to see you checking out the other playlists as well. Remember, there are going to be 3 spheres, 3 different playlists to engage with, and you are going to essentially assess where you need to plug in more, which sphere needs a little bit more juice in your life, and we're going to amp up the energy, okay? So stick with me. Thanks for dropping by. Go on doing what you do. I'll see you virtually in the next one. Thanks, guys. Ciao.